Coming up on City Spotlight, 5 episodes left in Season 9. And in this latest episode, we're going to feature 2 communities. First, we're in Oakland to talk to Linda Tabor with the Committee for the local Vietnam Veterans War Memorial in Oakland. Linda will share with us events that took place in Oakland on Memorial Day weekend and what the new Vietnam Veterans War Memorial means to Oakland and surrounding communities. Then it's off to Marshall and the Marshall Public Library. We talk once again with the director of the Marshall Public Library, Alyson Thompson. Alyson shares with us details of the grants the library has received and how these grants will help the library moving forward. We're featuring not one but 2 communities in this episode, Oakland and Marshall, here on City Spotlight. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com. Hello and welcome to another edition of City Spotlight. As you can see, we are outside on a bright sunny day here, and we are in Oakland, Illinois to start this episode. We're going to feature 2 communities here. As we near the end of Season 9, we're going to start in Oakland and then we'll head to Marshall in the second part. But first off, we're in downtown Oakland. We have a beautiful new memorial behind us, which we'll talk about in just a second. And to help us out, we welcome first time to the program, Linda Tabor. She's with the Committee for the local Vietnam Veterans War Memorial here in Oakland. Linda, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Glad to be back in Oakland here as we tape here on this sunny day, June 2nd, 2023. Again, we're going to talk about this memorial and ceremony that took place just prior to us taping here on June 2nd. Before we do that, Linda, you're a first-time guest here on the program.
Yes.
Can you tell our audience about yourself, please?
I was born and raised here in Oakland. I've grown up, went to school here, married a local boy.
All right, very good. And the event that we're going to talk about happened 6 days prior to us on May 27th. In a community of this size, what was the excitement leading up to what took place on May 27th?
Collecting these 150 names, and we're still looking for more veterans that served in Vietnam or during, and hoping that the excitement and happiness of those veterans attending that day, I think, was the highlight. Also, a main highlight was recognizing and honoring Donnie J. Clough, who was killed in action. A man that served with him, Paul Trend, was here and he spoke, and that was very heart-wrenching.
What you see behind us, or if we're already showing the photos that have been provided to us from Alyssa Farmer, who did a wonderful job photographing the event, since I was unable to be there that day, that Memorial Day weekend. And beautiful, beautiful new memorial. It is a Vietnam Veterans War Memorial. Has roughly 150
Yes.
names inscribed on it. Tell us about the memorial.
It's a black polished granite weighing 2 tons. It was purchased from monetary donations from the community and the veterans, their families, from Adams Monument in Charleston. It's 3 pieces. The names are cut in the stone, 150 of them, and there's 11 to date to be added. It has a 4-foot concrete foundation.
Wow, what a description of that memorial. It is rather new. It was up prior to the ceremony on May 27th?
Yes, it was installed here in Oakland by Adams on May 5th.
May 5th. All right, very good. Let's backtrack and talk about that event that took place on May 27th. As we mentioned, the number 150 names inscribed on the memorial. The turnout was very impressive. You said roughly 500 people showed up. A community of this size, that speaks volumes to what people thought about, what this meant to people.
Yes. A lot of veteran families and veterans themselves traveled from out of state. That shows that they wanted to be a part of it.
And we also had you had local dignitaries, you had some local politicians that showed up. So that's always nice to have those folks here to kind of make it official.
Yes, we had about 10 of
Wow.
them that showed up, including the state and district VFW commanders, Chapin Rose, Mary and Chris Miller.
Very good. And since I wasn't there, describe the atmosphere. 500 people in this small community's downtown area. It had to look amazing. You've been seeing the photos that have been provided for us to see what took place on that day. You were here. Tell us, what was the experience like to witness what took place here?
Very patriotic. The square was flags clear around the square. A big fire truck, Oakland fire truck ladder, had a large American flag, which was kind of the backdrop here.
Right.
The atmosphere, people enjoying visiting with one another. They hadn't seen each other for a while. Happiness, tears.
So it was kind of like a homecoming for some people.
Yes, yes, it was.
And this ceremony on Memorial Day weekend, with this brand new memorial honoring those that served in Vietnam, it wasn't just Oakland, it was also for the surrounding communities, including Oakland, of Borton, Hinesboro, and Isabel.
Correct.
So let's talk about the committee that you were a part of to kind of get this up, and you were probably very much involved with the ceremony. Let's backtrack now to before the ceremony and before this got put up. What was the thinking like that we need something like this to honor our Vietnam veterans in Oakland, Illinois?
Well, we got thinking of just naming the Vietnam veterans that we knew of, and it was a large number, and we knew there was others out there. There was a four-person committee. Ryan Stark from the VFW, who was
Right.
a quartermaster. Larry Larry Apple, who
Right.
was a VFW member and a veteran being honored that day,
Very
and
good.
then my husband, Jim.
Okay. And how long, tell us about the process. These things don't just pop up every day. When did the genesis, when did it all get started?
It started in March of 2022.
Okay.
We worked almost every day on one feature, trying to contact a veteran or his family, find out the
Wow.
information, whether you was on the computer or
Right.
it involved a lot of time trying
To get 150 people, sorry to cut
Yes.
you off, but to get 150 people inscribed, that must have been a lot of contacting.
Yes, yes. And no phone books to go to.
No phone books. Wow. How gratifying is it to see this the process it from start to completion? The ceremony obviously probably is the culmination of the whole thing. How did it make you feel to see how it turned out?
We wanted to honor and recognize these men, and they were recognized. Their names were read off. They were presented the Vietnam Veteran War Pin, and just to see the smile on their face. They didn't come home to parades and
Right.
claps and cheers.
Right.
And so I think they felt the love and honor and the thanks that we had for them that day.
To put in context to our audience at home, not that I need to make an excuse for why I wasn't here, but I was in Washington, D.C. with my son, and I saw the other national memorials. So on a grander scale, but on a local scale, this is a tremendous thing for this community to be able to recognize all those that did serve. For it to take place, the ceremony couldn't be better than doing it on Memorial Day.
Yes, yes.
Did you get any initial feedback from people that were there? It was a very good time.
There was a lot of feedback to the committee, and they were thankful that it was done, and the veterans were happy.
Very good. just prior to hitting the record button on the camera with Linda, you mentioned that there's room to add more names, and there will be more names added.
Right. To today's date, we have 11 names to add that we just acquired last week.
Very good.
If family members or a veteran served during that era or in Vietnam and has ties to Oakland, Hinesboro, Isabel, Borton, get in touch with me and we'll see that your name gets added.
Okay. Well, we very much have mentioned your name and put your name on the screen. So if someone's watching this segment on Oakland and they see about this and they missed it, certainly look for Linda Tabor. She can help steer that way and maybe get a loved one's name on that memorial.
Yes.
All right. My final question for you, Linda. Thank you so much for sharing the accomplishment of this memorial here in downtown Oakland.
Thank you.
And the ceremony that took place sounded like it was an amazing experience, and the visuals that I've seen and that we've shared with our audience show that it was truly a beautiful day in Oakland, Illinois. As you mentioned off the top, you are an Oakland native. Whether you want to put a culmination on this interview that we've done today, what are you most proud of your hometown?
We're a small community, of 900 people now. We're a small community, but we have a big heart. And what I appreciate most is the love and care for each other in the community if there's a need.
Right.
The community comes to the surface and tries to help it. We look out for each other, and that means a lot. You don't have that in the big cities.
That comment you just made, there is a very universal comment that we've heard a lot on these programs that WEIU has done, whether it's This Is Our Story program or City Spotlight. We hear about the big hearts of some of our smaller communities. So Linda Tabor, thank you so much for your time, and again, congratulations on what you and your committee did to provide this beautiful new memorial here in downtown Oakland.
Thank you for giving us coverage. We appreciate that.
It's glad to be here. We've been talking Oakland, Illinois in our first segment. As a promise, we're going to change communities in our next segment. We're going to head down to Marshall and catch up on what's going on at the Marshall Public Library. But first, let's take a look at some of the upcoming activities going on in the communities of Oakland and Marshall. We're back here on City Spotlight, this new episode here near the end of season 9. As promised, 2 communities in this episode. We were in Oakland, now we're in Marshall, and we're back at a familiar spot, the Marshall Public Library. To help us out, a familiar guest to the program, Alyson Thompson. She's the director here at the Marshall Public Library. Alyson, great to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have Alyson back here on City Spotlight. We caught up with her her first time on City Spotlight at the end of 2019, just before the COVID-19 pandemic started. Talked about a variety of things. Some of them happened, some of them didn't. But just want to get an overview from you, Alyson. Anything stand out from having to operate a library during a pandemic?
It was tricky. It was a tricky time. What we found was that our community really needed us during that time. And you may remember the essential versus non-essential terms. Well, essentially, we had shut down March 17th, and we believed that we were an essential business. And what we did is our Board of Trustees and staff approached our City Council, and we asked them to vote to make us an essential business. And so within the first 4 weeks, we were able to reopen, of course with a limited capacity, but at least we were able to offer some curbside services, get people some internet. We ended up opening up our Wi-Fi and making it accessible 24/7.
Wow.
So people could come and they could sit outside, they could sit in their cars, they could access internet. That was one thing that became pretty apparent during the pandemic, was that many people were relying on their internet services through their employers.
Wow.
And they would go home and they wouldn't have adequate internet services. And so we found that that was one of the key ways we were able to serve our community, was just really expanding our Wi-Fi capabilities.
All right. Well, the library is a resource, so you found a different way during a very tricky time to be a resource.
We sure did.
All right, very good. Thank you very much for that. Just wanted to get an overview because a lot of people I've talked to over time, 3.5 years since we last talked, just wanted to get that comment about having to operate during COVID. It was a very tricky time. A lot of exciting things happening with the Marshall Public Library since we last talked with Alyson. And I wanted to talk about a grant, but I had to be corrected by Alyson. There are multiple grants involved with this public library.
Yes.
Congratulations on that. Which one do you want to start with to talk about?
Well, let's start with the big one. So we're excited. We were one of a handful of recipients in the state, the only one in Southern Illinois to receive an economic development grant. And so it's actually for tourism. And so the grant application was for genealogy as tourism. We have recently acquired the dissolving Clark County Genealogy Library collection.
Wow.
And expanding our services into local history and genealogy.
Phenomenal. That is a big asset to this community to continue to preserve history. What does it mean for the Marshall Public Library to take on that material? Because you recently just took that on, but to be able to share that history within your walls.
You know, for some time, our community has been telling us they love our local history. And we have been embracing that for several years. We've been embracing it through expanding our interviews that are preserved, our oral histories. We have over 300 oral histories. We have thousands of historic photos that have been digitized. We have newspapers dating back to the Civil War.
Yes.
So we have really, for several years, been making strides in preserving our history. And so this just made a lot of sense to expand in this direction. And we're excited because the grant will allow us to expand upstairs by installing an ADA compliant elevator.
Wow.
Which really is seed money for the expansion of all of our 9,000 square feet that is currently being unused on the upper level of our library.
You gave me a small little tour. We'll have some footage of the library, the first floor, and the second floor down the road when everything is complete. This is going to be a 2-floor library. It's going to be quite an asset, even more so to this community. All right, very good. That was one grant. What other grants do you have going on?
So we recently received a grant from the Illinois State Library. It's called the Live and Learn Grant, and this grant will help us with a new roof, which is kind of a big deal. A new roof.
You need a roof.
On a 9,000 square foot building is quite costly. So it is a matching grant. So we're excited to have the capability to do that. One of the features that we'll be adding to our new space upstairs is a skylight. So it's perfect timing to put in that skylight and have the new roof. One of the things we've found for downtown preservation in general for these historic buildings is having a quality roof.
Right.
So this is one of the most important things that our downtown can do to help preserve our buildings. So we understand the value of this grant.
And as if you had seen Alyson from the first time that she was on and or her appearance on the Marshall This Is Our Story program, this building that the library is in has been many things through the years. So a new roof is certainly something that you need to have. Is that all the grants or is there more?
There's actually one more.
Let's go for the third one.
There's one more. This one is actually through the American Library Association.
Great.
And this is an ADA grant that will help with sound acoustics in our space. Okay. One of the things that we love about our library is that we are an open concept library. You can see from the front to the back.
Yes.
However, you can also hear from the front to the back.
Yes.
And so this will help with the acoustics and sound reverberations that we experience in our space.
I don't know how often you are looking for grants for the library, but to have not one, not two, but three kind of all coming in, you and the staff here at the library have to be just tickled to death on the opportunities moving forward for the library.
We are humbled. We're really humbled. We not only have monetary grants coming in, but we also have some sort of physical, if you will, grants coming in. We're going to be hosting the Americans and the Holocaust exhibit, which is coming from the Washington area. That will be coming here this fall. And then in the spring 2024, we will be hosting another Smithsonian. And so those aren't necessarily monetary grants, but they are grants that we've received. So this next year at the library is an exciting year.
And those last two things, if my memory recalls, are things that you talked about the last time we had you on.
Yes.
And because of COVID,
yes,
things got pushed back. So good to see them eventually get in here.
Yes, COVID was tricky, as we said.
Okay, very good. See that you're very active on social media and you have lots of programs offered to the community. Let's share what programs would you like to highlight that are going on at the Marshall Public Library.
Right now, we are in the thick of our summer reading program. So we're serving hundreds of children right now. We were excited to see the first 2 children come in yesterday who just in the first 2 weeks of our program have already read 400 minutes.
Wow.
And that's what we're about. We're about helping that summer slide where kids typically don't do as much reading. We want to promote that throughout the summer. We offer daily programs every day. We do crafts, we have special visits, we do movies, and then of course our charming new children's area,
yes,
which is a big hit.
Choo-choo.
Yes, yes.
There's a nice little train there for kids to see there. It's a
yes,
very exciting and visually attractive area for kids.
We absolutely love our children's area, and again, it's one of those things that our community is telling us they love local history. And so what we did was we embraced a previous train depot that used to exist in Marshall. It was called the Vandalia Station. And so we made a replica of that train station inside the library in the children's area. Through generous donations from community members, we were able to build this structure and also install a one-of-a-kind suspended train that children can activate.
You folks at home have been seeing this while we've been talking about it. I had a model train when I was a kid, and I felt like I was a little kid again watching that train
I
go
think
around.
Just as many adults have pushed the button as children.
I think I might have to push it a couple times before I leave
I think
here.
you should.
Very good. The programs that you offer here at the library are obviously every community that does have a public library has some kind of programs. But to be able to, just to reemphasize to our audience at home, a public library that is able to offer these many programs, it's just a total amazing asset to a community.
You know, we like to say that we are the hub. We are the hub of the community. We offer a lot of heart in what we do. I was just talking with a staff member yesterday who said, you know, I love coming here every day. And I think that says a lot about our community, that they are able to come to a place every day and serve people who have a lot of pride in their local library, who want to support their local library. We are just a loved building, a loved place.
Just prior to taping, I'm kind of going off the cuff here, just prior to taping with Alyson, you were helping some youth that came in, and I overheard one of them say that their birthday was coming up, and you mentioned to them that, hey, when you come back, you can get your library card. That's got to be a special moment for you working in the library to tell a kid, hey, next time you come in, you can get your library card. It's kind of a big deal.
It's a big deal. In fact, we do a program every year that we promote with second graders called I Can Read. And the entire intent of the program is to get kids in here to get their very first library card. We say it's the most important card in your wallet. But you know, it was exciting too. I was serving another child and he wanted a book, and I said, well, let's go see if we have it in. And we found it on the shelf, and he says, yes, it's in. And just to see kids excited about reading really is what this is about. We're about lifelong learning, and we feel like if we can capture them when they're little through things like trains and history of our town, then they're going to keep coming back as adults.
Got about another minute left with you, Alyson. Great to have you back here on City Spotlight. The facility looks a lot like what I saw last time I was with you here at the end of 2019, and with those grants, it's going to keep on evolving and transforming. Anything else you'd like to add here before we wrap up with you? put you on the spot there.
Well, you know, I think you need to come and visit Marshall Public Library. If anything, come and see us during the Holocaust exhibit. This fall we'll be here. It'll be here September 1st through the middle of October.
Okay.
And then we have the Smithsonian, which each time we host a Smithsonian, part of the grant application requires that we have a local companion exhibit.
Okay.
And so our local companion exhibits will feature the Gaslight Art Colony.
Nice.
And then also the Handy Writers Colony, which features James Jones, who was the renowned author of From Here to Eternity, which of course turned into the book. And so we'll have some local history components in conjunction with this nationally traveling exhibit.
A lot to do in downtown Marshall. You got the murals, you got the lion statues, and the Marshall Public Library. I'd like to thank the time of Alyson Thompson, Director of the Marshall Public Library. Thank you for coming on City Spotlight again.
Thank you, Ramin.
Appreciate it. And that'll do it for this combo episode here on City Spotlight featuring the communities of Oakland and Marshall. Thanks for watching. Thank you for tuning in to City Spotlight. You can check out past episodes, including the one you're watching right now, on YouTube. To check out recent episodes of Central and Southeastern Illinois towns featured on City Spotlight, search on YouTube, City Spotlight, with the show number and the name of the town. Listed on your screen are the last 5 episodes of City Spotlight. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com.